Check. Is it any better, everybody? Is it worse? Is it the same? Yeah, why is this audio so low? I don't understand. The volume is perfectly fine. Let me know, guys. Sounds fine for me, just a little low. Your moderators owe me an apology, GSU. I apologize on behalf of the moderators. How about that? There you go. Okay. How we doing? It's okay now? Is it okay now? Is it the same? ASMR style, just whisper, ramble. Good. Worse. Crazy man. This is perfect, Wardy. It's fine. All right. All right, guys, we're rolling with it. If it's low, just put it up. Just put it up. Just put the volume up, okay? That's all I ask. Just put the volume up, because for whatever reason, it's not connecting the way that I need to today. And I was trying to utilize my other microphone just a second ago, but it wasn't working either. Just put the volume up, everybody, and then we're going to be fine. My apologies, though. Thank you again, Care Bear, that I saw with the donation a second ago. Mets seem really fractured and disjointed as a team right now. That feeling of unity just doesn't seem to be there. I completely understand where you're coming from. And again, thank you so much for the donation, Care Bear. Great member. AJ with the $2 holla. AJ says Mendoza needs to be a manager and not their friend. I do agree with that as well. And guys, let's get into this one. Let's break down the latest in Metsland, everybody. So again, my apologies if the audio is a little low for you guys, but we're going to continue on, everybody. So getting back to what I was saying, I'm going to just act like the initial part of the show didn't happen. So I'm just going to go right back to ramble on once more, everybody. Not only did the Mets lose their third straight game and their second straight series all on the road here, but now we have, what did we see? Again, Juan Soto entered today with a 128 batting average of runners in scoring position. It did not get any better. The Mets were absolutely horrendous with runners in scoring position, top to bottom in this matchup. And as I said before now, the Mets have lost 5 of their past 6 games, are still around 10 games above 500, so it's not like the end of the world or anything like that. For context, the Mets were, 10 games below 500 this time last year? So things have changed a lot over a calendar year, and we understand that. But what has been a commonality with this Mets team that we have seen, even going back last season in large parts, even when they had a lot of things going in their way, and it was the following, everybody. It was the fact that the Mets have had these continued struggles with runners in scoring position. And when you have a hitting coach in Eric Chavez, who's famously quoted from earlier this season stating the following, and I quote, "I kind of lost my way because it's just a different way of navigating the day," Chavez said. Even though I'd be there before, I still had to feel my way around. It was like, okay, how are we going to make this dynamic work again? So Lindor pulled me aside. He's like, dude, what are you at? Where are you at? And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, we need to hear from you. You need to step up. And I didn't take that personally, honestly. I went home and I was like, he's right. So listen, I get the self-reflection's a good thing. I'm glad to know that you know when Lindor's right here, and he's right more often than not. But okay, do something about it then. Between Barnes and Chavez, they've had as piss-poor of approach as they come. He doesn't talk about home runs. He doesn't talk about doubles. He doesn't care about those things. He just says what happens off the bat, happens off the bat. But I'm sorry. When the Mets are one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball in hitting and breaking balls, specifically curveballs this season, and when the Mets are a bottom feeder with runners in scoring position, push comes to shove and something needs to be done. I know Steve Cohen just tweeted the following, and I'll show you guys here right now, as a matter of fact, what he just tweeted for you guys to check out, because there's nothing wrong with what Steve tweeted here. But at the same time, it's like, listen, let Mets fans have their reaction too, because I think both sides of the coin are true. And Steve knows this very well as a diehard Mets fan. And again, if I didn't say it already, thank you guys chiming in for our latest New York Metropolitan post-game show, everybody. Hit that like and subscribe on your way in for our latest show presented by SeatGeek, BetUS, and our great friends at Mando that we'll be getting to shortly. After we do our Mando ad read here in just a minute, everybody, we're going to be doing a jersey giveaway as a further thank you for 33,000 subscribers. Then your guy Wardy is going to promptly break down everything that went so wrong and get the latest godforsaken ball game for this New York Mets team, how they can better things, what we can expect in that potential team meeting that should be happening tonight. I think that goes without saying. And what is the continued notion going on with Juan Soto that we broke down in a video earlier today? Please make sure to check it out in case you guys haven't already. And again, thank you guys kindly for doing exactly that. But as you guys can see right now, I'm going to pull it up for each and every one of you to check out. We do have Mr. Steve Cohen with a tweet to share, and it is as follows, everybody. Take a look. Welcome to the ups and downs of the baseball season. This too shall pass, he says LGM. And while I 100% agree, this too shall pass, it is not the end of the world by any stretch in the case of Steve Cohen and this New York Mets team. But again, we're going to call things out for what they are when we're frustrated as fans. Even with the team around 10 games above 500, they need to be playing better baseball. And the Mets haven't hit a home run since Brett Beatty in the Pittsburgh Pirates series for the first time in a decade. And mind you, the reason why I'm emphasizing all these numbers to start the show is to further reiterate the problem that the Mets are having. The Mets are on a historic pace right now over the past week plus of playing piss-poor baseball. So bad that this is the first time since, yes, 10 years ago that the Mets had 6 consecutive ball games where they did not hit a home run. For them not to hit a bomb in Yankee Stadium and to not take advantage of the short porch. For them to be 2 games in Fenway and to not take any advantage there, especially center right field. Hitting plenty off the monster for just pimping singles because we always have to misread them. That being an Alonso and Soto. There's been a lot of frustration, to say the least, so far in this series between the Mets and the Red Sox. And my big takeaway yet again, which has been a commonality with a lot of my takeaways this season and how the Mets have lost their ball games, is not so much in how good the other team is, but rather how much the Mets continue to shoot themselves in the foot. It is just unbelievable how they continue to churn out the same exact results. We're wanting lineup changes, but here's a simple counter, everybody. What are the drastic lineup changes going to be? Because I promise you, there is not a shot, and you know what, that we see within the next couple days, that Juan Soto's moved out of the top 3, that Alonso and Lindor are going anywhere. The 1 through 3 are going to stay the same likely all year long. They just need to perform. Lindor got on base a little bit today. Alonso did nothing. He's pulling the baseball more. He's swinging more on the slider down away. We can see him start to slump, unfortunately. Lindor obviously hasn't had much going at all. He entered today's game 1 for his last 22, I believe. And Juan Soto, while he can get on base all he wants with those walks, Juan Soto's pressing unbelievably bad right now. Like, we're clearly seeing his first strikeout today on Walker Buehler as barely a check swing that he just had no confidence on. Soto's a guy that dominates the strike zone every single time he's up there. He has no swagger to him. He has such little confidence, and you can tell that he's really feeling it. And, of course, the media, the fans to a degree, and everyone else in company have not done any favors on this front whatsoever. So we're going to further expand on that and all the other nonsense that is going on in this one, everybody. But I want to know your initial reactions from tonight's 2-0 loss, deflating latest series loss here, this time to the Boston Red Sox in Boston. And I feel for all my Mets fans that went out of their way to attend these games just to see them falter as horrendously as they did. Another rock-solid Clay home start that we're wasting as well. I mean, that's not okay. That is clearly a problem. KCB, thank you so much for the $5 haul. KCB states the following: there's a difference between ups and downs, and a clear issue that's not being addressed with runners in scoring position all year. Can't ignore the issue. Bingo, bingo, bingo. Thank you. And I'm glad that we found the piece that came out just before the ball game today from Will Salmon of The Athletic. Check it out. Shout out to Will Salmon as always. But the fact that we're expecting to have a more stern conversation in the clubhouse should the issues continue, well, I don't know what else to tell you other than to say that there's no better example than to get this conversation started when the Mets went 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. They left 7 on base, and again, the only teams that are better than them in the National League in the most clutch spots with runners in scoring position, worse than them, are the Rockies and the Pirates. Bottom feeder schmucks. We cannot be in the same category as them, okay? I don't care if it's April 1st, if it's May 20th, or if it is September 8th. Regardless of the time of the year, that is not something that should be true to a Mets team that not just has playoff aspirations, but championship aspirations. You will not see a championship team this season fall into that category for this significant of a period of time. Expect this to be sustainable at all. It's not going to be. They're going to get exposed. The pitching's going to get exposed. And thankfully, Frankie Montas, Sean Manaea, Paul Blackburn, they're all on their ways back. And we're going to talk about that more in content dropping for you guys tomorrow. So be on the lookout for it. But in simple terms right now, is the sky falling? Far from it. We're very grateful to be ranting about the fact that the Mets are still 10 games above 500. But they lost their 5-game or so lead there in first place to the Phillies. They've completely regained, and the Phillies are now in first place over the Mets. Not that's the end of the world, because it isn't. But how the Mets are losing these ball games is this continued notion of them shooting themselves in the foot. It would be a lot more easier to stomach if the Mets were playing great baseball, and they unfortunately were just faltering in tight ball games where you listen, that's going to happen at the end of the day. You have to win 60 games and you have to lose 60 games at minimum in the 162, as Ron Darnley loves to famously say. But what's the key difference? It's the 42 games remaining that separate yourself from being a good team from a great team. And it's up to the Mets here to separate themselves greatly with these key 1-run, 2-run ball game opportunities that they're just floundering big time to start the season. So I apologize if maybe I'm coming off a little too ranty or getting ahead of myself for a fan of a team that, again, is a great standing so far this season, but I had these lofty expectations because they have promptly built them up. When you sign the largest contract in North American sports history, I'm going to go on a limb and say I expect that player at least to produce to a degree to have the fans satisfied. And this is not to completely rag on Soto, because everyone else that doesn't have a right to has done that enough here in the media and across opposing fan bases the past couple of weeks. But it is true that Juan's pressing. That needs to change. And when that changes, hopefully we see more of a flow with this offense, because he has not been in a consistent groove yet again at all this season. Let's see. AJ, thank you so much for the donation. Mike as well. Mike says, oh boy, more drama. Thank you so much for the $10 holla. Mike states the following: but seriously, I do think if the hitting doesn't come around, I think you bring in JD Martinez to be their new hitting coach. I don't think JD's going to do that right now, if I'm being honest. Even if the Mets threw that his way, I think JD is enjoying the idea of kind of relaxing right now. His playing career is likely done, and he's really locking in on being a true pickleball player. But I see what you're saying for sure. I loved JDM when he was here last year, more as a talking head and a key guy in the clubhouse than actually a guy with his on-field product, but that's okay, because unfortunately for his sake, he's really kind of, deteriorated a bit as a almost 40-year-old now DH option. But Mike, thank you for the donation. I see the thought process there. AJ with a $5 holla states the following: the problem, Steve, is the Mets offense has been horrible all season. It's not like they forgot how to hit the past week. We're not idiots, 100%. And I don't think Steve is trying to call us that at all, but he's trying to make sure that Mets fans are not trying to jump off a cliff either, the way that they'll certainly insinuate there on X after dropping back-to-back series. But folks, we are going to be doing a jersey giveaway in just a couple minutes. But before we do, you guys do need to hear from our amazing sponsor here on the platform today, specifically our great friends here at Mando. Listen up. And before we move forward in today's video, everybody, let's first hear a quick word from our sponsor that I'm so excited to break down, that being at Mando. Mando, the all-purpose, all-body deodorant, which I'm so excited to get into. Why, you might ask, Wardy? That's because this is a product that I've been using well before they even reached out and we've connected here to get a sponsorship deal done. Shout out to all you amazing Mets fans who helped make this possible, that we are reaching highs here on the platform, that we're getting deals with Mando. Love Mando, love their whole body deodorant. And if you guys don't know Mando, let me enlighten you folks, because they have a plethora of products that, mind you, are all clinically proven to block odor all day and control your body odor up to not 24, not 48, but yes, you guessed it, 72 hours. This has been a massive game changer from the time that I've used their product over this past year versus the previous deodorants that I've used. And mind you, this is not just for pits. This can be for behind your knees. This can be for, the areas that we're not going to talk about. Wherever you feel like you need deodorant, that is where Mando comes into play. And with their starter pack, which I have in my possession to a degree, folks, you have a lot of the other amazing products that they have, including their normal whole body deodorant Mando stick. We have their Mando wipes, which I absolutely love. Where were these back when I was in middle school and high school, especially, where I'm sweating bullets throughout the day just because I'm sitting there stressed doing classwork and stuff? These would have been awesome to have for my pits throughout the entire school day. I digress. We got the whole body deodorant as well, which is fantastic. We have the Mando body wash here, which is so good, and one of my favorites as well, the whole body deodorant, but this time in the liquid form here. Again, all the Mando products, I cannot say enough glowing things about them. Sponsor or not, I will continue to promote this brand, and for great reason, everybody. So now I'm calling on each and every one of you. If you guys want to get in on Mando, listen up to the following, folks, and please sign up today. How do you sign up? It's by controlling the body odor anywhere with @shop.mando and get $5 off your starter pack. Mind you, that's over 40% off with our amazing promo code. You guessed it, Wardy, W-A-R-D-Y, at shopmando.com. Shout out to Mando once more for being an awesome sponsor of the platform, and thank you, Mets fans, for making it happen. All right, folks, shout out once more to Mando, and someone in the chat said it absolutely beautifully. The Mets need to start wearing Mando, because boy, do they stink right now. And I don't think you're too far off to say that, especially the past week. The boys have been anything but exactly what we want them to be right now. I'm not happy to be breaking down the fact that the Mets have lost back-to-back series, but that's the reality for them. So, folks, at least let me make your evening a little bit happier before we have to break down everything that went oh so wrong in this one, and that is by doing our jersey giveaway, everybody. So, again, as a further thank you for 33,000 subscribers on the platform here, we're going to be giving away a jersey of whatever player you guys currently want here on the platform, and that does, in fact, have to do with each and every one of you. So what you guys will need to do now, and yes, the audio is going to be lower than what it was from the ad read. I apologize for that. It is what it is. I can't get the audio higher than what I want it to be today for some odd reason. I'm going to try to troubleshoot and fix that for you guys for tomorrow, so be on the lookout for it. Again, it ain't a Wardy show without at least something going wrong with the audio. Every single day we have something happening lately. I had initially an issue with my microphone that I wasn't able to rectify right away. I've been using my wireless mic as of late, and that hasn't been fun either. But folks, before we break down this ball game, before we get into all the frustration that has to do with it, hit that like and subscribe button on your way in and start spamming in the live chat right here, right now, everybody. All you need to spam in the chat is the following. Me. Just spam me. And you guys will be automatically entered for your chance to win their jersey giveaway. I am going to look away and randomly click on a comment, and whoever's comment that I decide to click on at random, you guys will be the winner. And then what you will need to do is to reach out to me via email or via what you guys can find on X via DM as well, or Instagram DM, one of those three, and I will gladly hook you guys up with the jersey. So without further ado, everybody, start spamming me in the chat, and let's get one of you guys a free Mets jersey of whatever current player you want on the team. I'm going to do a countdown from 5, so let's get this set. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my goodness, it's Yoshima! Congratulations, Yoshima! That's insane! Oh my goodness gracious. You know what makes me really happy? It's not only when I know the person that won the giveaway, but when it's someone who actually has been a longtime supporter. Yoshima, congratulations on the giveaway win. If I'm not, did you win one already? I feel like you won something smaller in the past. This is absolutely insane. Kid you not, guys? God as my witness, I just clicked on a random comment, and Yoshima's, it was in fact his in the chat, and I know that he's been a longtime supporter, a great member on the platform. He even donated literally just a couple minutes ago earlier in the chat. That's actually insane. Congratulations, Yoshima. Dan says Yoshima wins everything. That's hilarious. He's like, he's won every giveaway. He's won this, he's won that, he's won that. Regardless, Yoshima, congratulations. I apologize to everyone else that did not win the giveaway. I wish that I could give jerseys each and every one of you, but if I did that, I wouldn't have any more dollars to spend, and that would be, sadly, the demise of what we have here. I love JTB, great member, says fixed. Yes, it's fixed. You got me, for sure. This shit is rigged for you. Dan, you got to go do something to Yoshima then if you want your jersey. I don't know what else to tell you. But seriously, Yoshima, you know the drill. You have me on X or on email, so reach out to me at either one. Just send me your info, and I'll gladly get the jersey your way. Awesome. Again, thank you again to everyone that chimed in. I can't believe the fact that Yoshima won it, but at the same time, he has to get it again because Beatty, he won the Beatty giveaway in the past. That's correct. What was the Beatty giveaway in the past? Was the Beatty giveaway a jersey or a shirtsy? I don't even remember. When was the Beatty giveaway? How long? You know it's been a minute if we did a Brett Beatty giveaway. I don't even remember. You got to let me know in the just hit me up again on X or DM. But again, congratulations, Yoshima. Very happy to see a loyal member win the jersey giveaway. And again, you guys will definitely have a great chance to win a giveaway again once we hit 34,000 subscribers, and we're less than 1,000 subs away. So help us get there, everybody. Again, we do these after every single 1,000 subscriber milestone that we hit the plateau here on the platform, and it's been a lot of fun. We've already given away 2 Juan Soto jerseys and 1 Juan Soto shirt jersey this season. Brooklyn says, guess I gotta pay $130 for a Juan Soto jersey like the rest of us. Yeah, if it makes you feel any better, I have a Juan Soto jersey that, you know, I didn't get gifted. I bought myself, and I bought 2 others before I even got my own and gave them away. So I think it's fair, right? So Nolan, great member, 47 months, he says, thinking about this Sunday, what do you think? This Sunday's going to be interesting. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen then. I will be attending this Friday's game against the Dodgers there, so I hope to see many of you amazing Mets fans there at Citi Field. But enough of me rambling, everybody. Let's now break down this ball game and get into how frustrating it was and why we can expect now a stern meeting between Carlos Mendoza and everyone else Mets brass in that clubhouse potentially as soon as tonight, and go on from there. Because if you guys are just chiming in now, this is the first time this season the Mets have lost 3 consecutive ball games. They were, however, the last, and I truly mean the last team in baseball at this point that had yet to lose 3 consecutive ball games. Sadly, that has now reared its head, and they have lost 5 of their last 6 games at the same time. I know the audio sounds low, George. I apologize for that. Just raise it up for the show today. Fortunately, we had audio hookups, but let's see. Enzo, thank you so much. I appreciate that. What happened to the Mets jingle? Nothing happened to it. The Mets haven't won. I can't use the jingle after a loss. We're never going to be rolling the jingle after a loss. It could only be after a victory. And I really, really wish, obviously, that wasn't going to be the case. I wish the boys won tonight. We're bopping the jingle and having a lot of fun, but not the case today in this one, everybody. So without further ado, let's get into it and let's break down what happened in this ball game, everybody. I'm not a Mets fan, but I was rooting for you guys tonight. I appreciate that. Sadly, we couldn't prevail for you. I'm sure you might be a Yankee fan or whoever you're a fan of. Yeah, tonight was not fun. This has been very frustrating, and Clay Holmes, without question, deserved better in this matchup, everybody. Just to give you guys a sneak peek of what we're going to be breaking down. Sorry. What? I don't know why that was muted. I have no clue why it was. All right, guys, was it muted from this slide on? Was it muted on both? That was actually pretty funny. I apologize. I don't know why that was muted. Was it muted as I was showing this slide as well, or just the offense? Let me know in the chat. That's actually pretty hilarious. I'm not even mad about that. Listen, hiccups are going to happen. That was beyond stupid. But, all right, guys, we're not muted now. So, yes, going back here for a second, pitching-wise, Holmes was nails. Kranick was more than fine, going too shutty for this Mets team. And then hitting-wise, going back to that was probably hilarious. I'm not going to lie. Again, you get a 0. You get a 0. You get a 0. You get a 0. JTB says this mic is possessed. I know. And yes, I know the audio is low, everybody. I apologize for that as well. I wish I could have it higher for each and every one of you. Unfortunately, I cannot at this very moment. And again, I don't really know exactly why, what the issue is there. But like I said, I will try to certainly troubleshoot this once our show is done, once we have more content dropping for you guys tomorrow. Oh my god, that was just absolutely ridiculous. But all right, guys, getting back into this, let's break down this ball game finally. We're almost a half hour into it, so we might as well talk about it now, as much as I don't want to. Starting the first, we have Tony the Rubber, Walker Buehler for the Red Sox, right around the 4-year of the season. Facing off here against the Mets and Clay Holmes, now as a starter for the Mets and no longer a reliever for the New York Yankees. And Francisco Lindor grounds out to begin the ball game. Juan Soto strikes out on a piss-poor check swing. And Pete Alonso strikes out swinging, taking the bite there, taking the bait, and that's it for an easy 1-2-3. In the bottom of the first, we would see Jarren Duran get on with a leadoff walk. Then Rafi Devers lines out, while a wild pitch by Clay allows him to get to second base, that being Duran. Bregman, who I actually just did a video on for you guys to check out at the WardyNYM platform, how he's in fact an underpaid player, even at $40 million. And no, I'm not lying. That is in fact true. What is going on? Holy shit, guys. I'm literally about to lose my mind. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. What, like, unbelievable. Like, this is... I'm actually not even mad because it's fitting that we have such an absolute shit show of a stream with this damn audio on the same day that the Mets give us a steaming pile of you-know-what, which is a lack of hitting with runners in scoring position. It's pretty fitting that on a night that the Mets just don't have anything going, that is in fact what happens as well. So it would bother me more if this was a game that the Mets absolutely, tore it up and won like 10-0 or so. And I'm rambling, doing my thing, just to find out that, bam, that's in fact not sounding good, not looking good, everything about it's terrible. So, all right, for the 5th hiccup that we have this damn stream, as we continue on, Alex Bregman gets on with a walk there. Then Wilyer Abreu strikes out there on a foul tip, and Christian Campbell strikes out swinging that we saw with a sinker, and that did it there for the first. Apologies once more, everybody, there from what we just saw there in the audio. Did not mean for that to happen. That was just unbelievable, unbelievable. In the top of the second, everybody, we see Nimmo strikeout. Vientos with a hit by pitch. McNeil then with a walk, everybody. Alvarez will be called out on strikes, and Brett Baty flies out to left fielder Jarren Duran. So another day, another inning where the Mets have 2 on, less than 2 out, and they don't do anything with it. Color me shocked. It's almost like that's been a commonality all season long. We do have a quote here. Brandon Nimmo talking on Juan Soto. I have all the confidence in the world with him and in the work ethic he has, the way he goes about it, and honestly, just the God-given talent that he has, it's going to come through. And I know it is, Brandon. I appreciate that encouragement plenty. I'm trying to see if there's any key quotes from Carlos Mendoza so far tonight. Let's see. As far as the track record, we've got too many good players in this room, understanding that at some point throughout the season, you're going to go through stretches like this, And that is actually 100% true, but it doesn't change the fact that we're still making excuses. You know, we're going through it, no doubt about it. Mendoza did say that we're going through it, and that's fine, but what are you going to do about it? You know, like, I understand that's expected, and I understand that these things are going to happen for every team in Major League Baseball, but in the case of the Mets here, they are at an all-time bad in certain categories that they simply can't be all-time bad in. That's where I naturally have a greater issue as a fan. But as we get into this, everybody, let's see everybody gets a jersey. There you go, Dan. And Catabear, you guys can be happy about that. In the bottom of the second, we see Nick Sogard get on with a hit by pitch. Then we see Trevor Story rip a single. We see David Hamilton out on a sac bunt there. And then we see the runners at second and third, however, less than 2 outs. But thankfully, everybody, and I apologize, that was with less than 2 outs, because then Carlos Narvaez, who's been swinging the bat really, really good as of late for the Boston Red Sox at catcher. Yes, a guy with the last name Narvaez at catcher, that's actually good. If only Omar knew what the hell that meant. He rips an absolute liner to left that we see, and Brandon Nimmo makes the catch and makes the throw. An all-in-one double play by Brandon Nimmo himself. Huge assist. Deep throw there from deep left field, and he gets him out at home without a problem. Shout out to Brandon Nimmo with another great game defensively there in left field. It feels like every series, Brandon Nimmo is making something important happen, right? Especially on the defensive end. Offensively, we know that he's been pretty fickle so far this year, but defensively, Nimmo has made some highlight reel catches or just some big plays, and that was without question the best display of his arm we've seen so far this season. So I was really happy about that. But unfortunately, again, in a game where the Mets had guys like Walker and Buehler, and oh my goodness gracious, Mr. Cora in his first game back this series because he was away from the team yesterday, they exit this ball game and you still do nothing with it. It is unbelievable. This team is terrible defensively. They have not been good defensively at all, with the exception of Brett Beatty. You're not wrong there. Nimmo hasn't been a problem either, obviously. He had a great play there and left. But as we continue on, everybody, in the top of the third, Tyrone Taylor would fly out. Lindor then would have hit by pitch. He then steals second base for his seventh stolen bag of the season, rather, and that is where Walker Buehler exits today's game. If you want to know what happened, everybody didn't see it. Buehler was pissed off because he threw a slider nice down and in on Soto, and it was a clear strike. It completely took over enough of the heart of the zone, but because of the stolen base, and I guess the umpire got all thrown off by that, he called it a ball. Buehler, rightfully so, was pissed off about it, was yelling F-bombs after the umpire said, you know, I'm the one calling the game. Buehler really wasn't having it, however, and that got him quickly tossed out. Naturally, Mr. Cora, their manager, trying to back up his starting pitcher, is going to give the umpire an earful right away, and the umpire was a schmuck. He was a piece of shit. I mean, I'm going to call it how it is. It was a horrendous call by him. He should not have botched it to begin with, and then you throw out the guy. Listen, I mean, a pitcher's always going to get thrown out as soon as you start yelling F-bombs, but it doesn't change the fact that, you know, he was kind of in the right to have his initial reaction because you, yet again, were wrong. The same way that yesterday, the umpire against the Mets, everybody, I don't know if you know this, gave up and gave the Red Sox a advantage by 1.23 runs, I believe, or 1.26 or so. So the umpire was on the Red Sox side yesterday. Today it's on the Mets side, and they still do absolutely nothing with it. A prime opportunity to pounce for the Mets. A prime opportunity to get something going here. Juan Soto gets on with a walk after they rush in Bernardino there to be their southpaw reliever to come in there in relief right away for Walker Buehler, who doesn't even go beyond 2 innings today. And then Pete Alonso grounds out softly. And Brandon Nimmo having a key opportunity to try to drive in a run. He can't do it as he flies out there to Christian Campbell. It was an absolutely roped baseball, and it sadly fell just short there. It died in the warning track right in pretty much the deepest part of the ballpark there in center for the Red Sox. That pained me because Nimmo did barrel that well. It just wasn't enough in these ballpark dimensions. And the Red Sox go on then to head to the bottom of the third. I want Chavez and Barnes fired. I feel like this is commonality that we have heard for quite a bit now. But again, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that, John. You're not alone. And I think you are just one of many Mets fans that falls in that category. Jerry Duran strikes out swinging there to begin the bottom of the third. Devers gets on with a walk then. After a pop-out by Alex Bregman, Abreu gets on with a single, and thankfully Christian Campbell grounds out there, and that does it for the inning. In the top of the fourth, we see Mark Vientos rip his 7th double of the season, an absolute towering shot off the wall there, just shy of being a home run there to left. Could not get up the monster enough, and this is where the monster came to bite the Mets in the ass. Because it goes from being a home run to a double, and that double is his 7th of the season. But then we see Jeff McNeil quickly ground out after looking like he almost got a ball past Nick Sogard at first base. It was a nice play by Sogard. He gets McNeil out at first. The runner moves over to third, that being Vientos, who got the start yet again today at DH with Beatty at third. That's something that you will see more and more of just because of the fact that, one, Beatty's defense has been electric, Vientos has looked better in that DH role, and if it ain't broke, why fix it in that case? Francisco Alvarez, who got the start today after hitting an opposite field double and opposite field single yesterday, did not have the same luck on the offensive end in this matchup. He was far from good. Alvarez, we saw ground out there to second base, and then Brett Beatty with a line out did it there for the inning. In the bottom of the fourth, we would see Nick Sogard ground out, Trevor Story ground out after Brett Beatty makes a fantastic play at third base, charging there that we saw there on a soft ground out by Story, and then a strikeout on David Hamilton for a nice 1-2-3 inning there in the fourth by Clay Holmes. We would see Garrett Whitlock come in there as a reliever for the Red Sox in the fifth, and Tyrone Taylor would strike out swinging. We would see Francisco Lindor get on with his first and potentially only hit of the day. That was Lindor's only hit of the day, yep. And then we see him sadly caught stealing second base, and this was a borderline call. This felt like it could have went any other way. I was flipping between the SNY broadcast and the TBS broadcast today, and when I was watching the TBS broadcast, the camera angles that they were showing me were really making me believe that he looked like he was pretty rock solid safe or close to. So the fact that the Mets did not challenge that play was kind of head-scratching me for a team that's really been adamant to do exactly that. But I will say this, from what I heard, the SNY broadcast was showing different angles that maybe made it look a little bit too inconclusive. That, again, if you're the Mets, why are you going to waste a challenge then? If that's the case, then okay, it's more justified. But I did just want to share my 2 cents on that, because in the moment, I was really head-scratching as to why the Mets didn't initially at least challenge that play. But if it wasn't conclusive enough, why waste the challenge? And that is fair, so I will go on from there. Because right after, unfortunately, Lindor's out at second base there on a solid attempt for trying to get another stolen bag in this ballgame. Juan Soto gets his one and only hit in the ballgame, an opposite field single there, ripped to Jarren Duran. Pete Alonso will then ground out, and that does it for the inning, everybody. So the Mets, again, not getting anything going with runners on the base. In the bottom of the fifth, who greets Mr. Clay Holmes rudely? It's Carlos Narvaez. Narvaez rips an absolute bomb, pulls a sinker inside. It's his 5th home run this season. Narvaez puts them up 1-0, and Clay Holmes, who hadn't allowed one single home run in his first 7 starts of the season, allowed 2 home runs in his last start, and I gave him more benefit of the doubt, mainly because of the fact that it was a very rainy night there against the Mets at Citi Field against the Pirates. They shouldn't have had him out there for the first home run he gave up, especially when it's downpouring for like 15 or 20 minutes out of nowhere, which wasn't ideal. But regardless, Holmes was coming off his last start where he gave up 4 earned runs across 5 or 6 innings, and today he now gives up his 3rd home run over the past 2 games that he's pitched. And it gets worse from there, because after a Duran called out on strike 3, we would see Rafi Devers go opposite field there up on the Green Monster. His 10th home run this season there for Devers, and Boston is up 2-0. They would go on to win by a final score of 2-0. But the most frustrating aspect out of this is the fact that, again, 2-0 feels like 10-0 with the way that the Mets are hitting right now. As soon as it became 1-0, I was discouraged. When it became 2-0, I said to myself, I really hope the Mets prove me wrong, but I'm really not expecting them to do anything crazy here. I'll be surprised if they rally back with how ice cold that their bats have been as of late, especially in what's been kind of more of a cold, frigid series in Boston. They have not handled the Boston air whatsoever. Bregman grounds out and Abreu lines out there for the 5th, but not before they get on to a 2-0 lead. Justin Wilson, the former Met now foe, who was fantastic against the Mets yesterday, comes back in for relief, and he gets a called strike 3 on Brandon Nimmo. He strikes out Mark Vientos swinging, which is not a good look for Mark there in the righty-lefty matchup. Love Mark, but I didn't like that at bat. McNeil then gets on with a 2-out walk. Then here comes Greg Weissert, who did pitch yesterday as well. And Weisert's first pitch he throws to Francisco Alvarez or so, he grounds out right to Alex Bregman. And the Mets, for another inning, get nothing going. In the bottom of the 6th, we see Clay Holmes have himself a nice 1-2-3, all via ground out. Kristen Campbell, Nick Sogard, Trevor Story all sit down. And that is going to do it, everybody, for Clay Holmes. Okay, making sure my thing isn't muted, because for whatever reason, all my mics were muted heading into this. But Clay Holmes, 6 innings, 3 walks, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 4 hits, a 3.13 ERA rate now on the season for Clay Holmes. I'm going to give Clay a rock-solid 6.5 out of 10 today. I'm not going to go 7 with him, but he was rock-solid. He was not really much of a liability today. I don't love the walks. I would have liked to see them down a little bit, but I thought Clay handled his own very well. And this was just another rock-solid start by Clay Holmes. I think you could give a grade anywhere from 6.5 to 7.5 in that range. I don't think you're really out of the realm of, thinking rationally about this, in my humble opinion. So, guys, I would love to hear from you all in the comments down below. How would you grade Clay Holmes' final line today on a scale of 1 to 10? Like I said, I'm going 6.5 for Clay. who had the sinker working, 43% of the Arsenal, so really trying to work those ground outs naturally. Topped out 95, sitting 93. The changeup at 21%, topped out 90, sat 88. The sweeper at 14%, topped out 83 and sat right around 81. The slider at 13%, topped out 86 and sat right around 85. And the cutter at 8%, topped out 89 and sat right around 88. So that's what we got there, everybody, for Clay Holmes and his final line. Like I said, I'm going 6.5 on him, and you guys can spam in the chat as well as the comments down below. How would you grade Clay's final line today? And thank you guys so much for doing exactly that. Now, hopping back to the main slide, making sure I don't echo again. So for whatever effing reason, when I go back to my other thing here, it loves to turn on my thing without even asking, so it automatically causes an echo for a second. So that's why we had such a big audio hiccup a little bit earlier outside of me getting muted. That was the reason for it, so I apologize. But as we continue on, everybody, let's go back to breaking down this ball game and everything else that transpired for the final ensuing 3 innings or so. And like I said, like each and every one of you, I am not happy right now to be breaking down the Mets losing back-to-back series. Is it the end of the world by any stretch? No, of course not. And again, there is a lot more things to say as a Mets fan to be like, listen, got 10 games above 500. You got plenty of games left. You're going to rally back to hopefully get the division lead and keep it this time. And there's a lot to be happy about as a Mets fan this season when things are still not going wrong, when things are not going right. I do 100% agree with that to an extent. But at the same time, the big bugaboo, again, I can't emphasize this enough, is the fact that the Mets just are not getting the consistent hitting at all. Because they were not getting consistent hitting with runners in scoring position when they were hot this season, the first couple weeks of the year, right? Even when they were winning pretty consistently, they weren't hitting well in those clutch situations. But it was okay, because they were still hitting a lot collectively and getting on base at a great clip every single inning. Now you mean to tell me that they're not even hitting well? They're not even getting on base consistently like what they were. They are truly in a collective slump right now, and that is obviously an issue. As we get on to the 7th inning, we see Tyrone Taylor rip a 1-out single to left. Here comes Justin Sladen, who killed the Mets yesterday. Sladen, funny enough, used to be a New York Met that we traded away a couple years ago from Ryan Ammons and cash considerations. Sladen has been awesome for the Red Sox since then. And as soon as he comes in the ball game, Francisco Lindor grounds into an inning double play. When it rains, it pours for this Mets offense. Max Kranick, then no panic, Kranick comes in, and he gets an easy 1-2-3 with a pop out, a ground out, and a ground out again there on Hamilton, Narvaez, and Duran there for a nice 7th inning. And the top of the 8th, Juan Soto's final at-bat of the day. Just like what he did yesterday. Final at-bat, it's an easy ground out. There's just no confidence at all with Soto right now. And it's crazy to say this for a guy who entered this series with over 900 OPS in the month of May, and yet it feels like that between the media pressure, between how the fans treat him at Yankee Stadium, and everything in between right now, he is just pressing unbelievably hard. You can just tell when he has the right approach versus when he has the wrong approach, and right now, sadly, Juan Soto does not have the right approach at the plate. Pete Alonso grounds out, and Brandon Nimmo grounds out, and all 3 groundouts there, of course, and that's an easy 1-2-3 for Justin Sladen. As we see in the bottom of the 8th, Devers is called out on strikes. Breggy gets on with a single, but he works around that being a Max Kranick to get Abreu out on strikes and Rafaela to fly out. So Max Kranick, again, giving the Mets rock solid outing today, everybody. Kranick and what we got today, and I apologize, I didn't mean to go back to this graphic. Meant to go here, everybody, but as you guys can see, Clay Holmes' final line today, 6 innings, 2 earned runs. Max Kranick, though, was rock solid. And Kranick's arsenal today, I really, really liked how he approached these batters there for the Red Sox. He threw the kitchen sink today. You know, we've had outings with Kranick where he's only thrown, 3 pitches, 2 pitches. But today, no, he had 5 pitches in the arsenal. Utilized the slider 53% of the time. Topped out 92, sat 91. The velo was up on everything today, as a matter of fact. So that's encouraging to see. The four-seam fastball topped out 97, sat 96.5. That was fantastic. That utilized 23% of the time today. Then we saw the curveball at 10% of the arsenal. Topped out 81, sat right around 80. The sinker at 7%, topped out 97, sat right around 97. And the sweeper that he threw just twice as well, topped out at 85 and sat right around 84. Max Kranick, a really, really nice bounce-back outing for him today. For a guy that, got shook up a little bit. Then his last outing was good as well. But previous to that, I think he gave up, I think over Kranick's last 4 outings, the first 2 he gave up runs, but the last 2 he hasn't now, which is encouraging. So Kranick, again, down to a 3.72 ERA there on the season, everybody. And as we continue on from here, going back to the main slide, and to break down more about this ball game, let me make sure I mute that echo so it isn't too obnoxious for you guys. We would see the Mets then Get set for the ninth inning. In the ninth inning, it's a Aroldis Chapman yet again, and the Mets can't handle him. Mark Vientos grounds out, McNeil grounds out, and Alvarez quickly lines out. It was such an effortless, easy 1-2-3 ninth inning there for Aroldis Chapman, which naturally bothers me even more as a Mets fan. But yeah, guys, that's what I got for you for the final line today. And offensively, again, it leaves a lot to be. That is an understatement, right? When you guys take a look at these numbers, how do you feel right now, Mets fans? How do you feel about what is not going right with this Mets offense right now? Because they are 1 for 3, that being in Lindor, 280 average, 811 OPS this season. Soto, 247 average, 816 OPS now. Alonso's at a 294 average and a 944 OPS. So yes, Alonso for the first time this season is officially batting below 300. Brandon Nimmo with a 215 average and a 678 OPS. Mark Vientos, 236 average, 683 OPS. Jeff McNeil, 245 average, 841 OPS. McNeil got on base twice today via walk. He had a solid game today again today. I'm not going to gripe about Jeff. Alvarez did not have a great game today. 250 average, 661 OPS. Beatty, 0 for this one, 209 average with a 678 OPS. And Tyrone Taylor, again, continuing with the contact and gap-to-gap ability, 1 for 3 with a 246 average and 661 OPS. The Mets left 7 on base. They went 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. And as I stated earlier in the show, the Mets are now an absolutely horrendous 214 on the team average. There were runners in scoring position, 26th in Major League Baseball, and only trailing teams like the Colorado Rockies and the Pirates for bottom feeders there in the National League. So definitely not happy about it. And again, is it the end of the world, guys? No, of course it's not the end of the world. But I think everyone has a rightful reason to be discouraged to a degree the way that we've been right now. And I think my big takeaway out of all this is just I want change more than anything. I'm not expecting to completely toss up the lineup. I don't think that makes sense to even do that for this Mets team. But what you do need to do is you need to have a conversation. You need to do something about it. You need to hold people accountable because, as we said earlier in the show as well, you cannot be a contending team, a deep playoff run contending team, and expecting to have World Series aspirations and have any point in the regular season, especially 2 months now. This is not just like a cup of coffee sample size, guys. This is 2 effing months of the Mets being consistently dog shit when they're supposed to hit well. And who has told you verbatim every single game this season that's been an issue? Yeah, me. You guys have seen it. We've all seen it. It's drove me up an effing wall because it really makes this 10-game above 500 run not as enjoyable as we'd like it to be. And I know I'm saying this probably more so as being a Sourpuss fan in the moment. I should be very grateful that my team is in great position to have success this season, and I am for that. But I think because of the fact that, again, between the Soto contract, the expectation, and how the Mets started this season, I know that we're not going to play great baseball every single time out there, but it's about how do you win and lose ball games. It's that context that'll always drive me nuts as a fan. And as I said before, and I'll say it again, guys, when you are a baseball team, and when you lose ball games that are tight ball games, great opportunities to win, it isn't for lack of effort. They sadly just didn't win the games in the end because, again, the other team bested them one way or the other. Then you got to take it on the chin for what is. It is what is. But it's another when the Mets just constantly shoot themselves on their own effing foot, doing their best Megan Thee Stallion impression as she tossed out that glass bottle and stepped on it. And yet we have that entire situation going on with Tori. If you know, you know. That's a whole lot of drama. They're in a hip-hop space that's separate from this. But the same applies. The Mets are just hurting themselves. And it's so bad when you know that it's themselves to blame. It's not like they're getting curb stomped by these teams that are clearly better. And on one hand, you're encouraged because you know your team isn't getting curb stomped by teams that are better, with the exception of the Yankees to an extent from that series. But every single game, it has been them besting themselves. And the more that this continues, the more that they're going to lose tight ball games, the more that they're not going to show up offensively. And then quickly, before we know, we're going to find ourselves in a position that we're really not happy about as Mets fans because of how the season started versus now where we are currently at. So I definitely want to hear from all you guys in the live chat and the comments down below on this one. It would really mean a lot to me regarding these topics. Let me get this going here for 1 second. There's top right. Now, where's the top left? I don't know where the... Okay, so there's top right. Let's find the top left here for 1 second, everybody. Where did you go? There we go. I was just trying to get the corner animations working because I meant to have them up earlier too. And I also apologize, guys. I know that today was really all over the place with the audio. Like I said, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that that is not the case for our content tomorrow. I think it had to do with the fact that I've been doing content on my laptop lately. I finally was able to get set back up on my PC today because I had left my plugin when I was at Pat's place there in New York a couple days ago, if you guys watch our watch party and post-game show. So last couple days I was really working on the fly with a very limited setup. Now I got everything set back in order, and of course we had the natural issues that we had in this one. So for all my live viewers, we're going to continue on the conversation now. But for all my replay viewers, I want to leave you guys with this as the final remarks here. Let's see. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any key quotes from Carlos Mendoza before I cut things off for replay viewers. I don't believe that I did. Many of you didn't really have a lot of things notable to say to the media tonight from what I'm seeing. I've just seen more of just like understanding that they're not heading too well right now, and that's pretty much about it, everybody. So the Mets, again, have scored 10 runs in their last 7 games. That is absolutely horrendous. That is just a ridiculous rate. The Mets are almost averaging just a run per game right now. Like, that's not good. Paradoxal, thank you so much for becoming a franchise member. I appreciate that. I love your PFP, too. I don't know what's going on in your background there from my vantage point, but it looks pretty cool. So thank you so much for becoming a member on the platform. We're very happy to have you here. If you guys have not become members already, but do have interest to interact with us in the live chat, the comments on replay, and everything in between, please make sure to do so, because we are doing a members-only live show, I believe within the next week or so. So definitely be on the lookout for that as a Q&A session. And final thing for everybody that are especially going to be watching this on replay and not our live viewers, because our live viewers are going to be answering your comments, questions, and concerns that you guys got from me in a second. Soto average batting third is 327. That is good to see. I'm not complaining about that. But the thing is I don't see the Mets moving Soto to third because they're not going to move Alonso to the 2-hole. You know what I mean? And you can't justify moving Alonso out of the top 3 right now, because to not have Alonso in your top 3 means he doesn't have a guaranteed first inning at bat every day. And in my opinion, he absolutely needs that minimum. MF, give us a stare. You're going to get it. I promise. I pinky promise you're going to get it. But before you get that, MF, we are going to do this real quick. If you didn't see this already, everybody, I just want to remind you all, we have Wardy Day, the official Wardy Day coming here, that being on August 1st. That means that you'll be able to hang out with your guy Wardy at the actual Mets game the day after the MLB trade deadline. It'll be fireworks night. It's going to be absolutely electric, everybody. And hopefully the Mets have some new acquisitions to make their Mets debut there on that August 1st game. It's going to be so much fun. We have a drink voucher of roughly $20 for you guys to utilize. You'll get pregame on-field access there to take a photo with your guy Wardy at minimum, if not more there, that we will have for a group photo there on the warning track. You guys will also be able to hang out with me throughout the entirety of the ball game. We're going to be chopping it up, having so much fun in an exclusive lounge there in top left field right next to the bar. That is not standard seating. They are lounge seating, so they are more comfortable. They're nicer. It's a really easy way for us to mingle, and I can kind of hop around, walk around, and talk to each and every one of you guys individually throughout the course of the ball game. Click the link down below in the description of the live show here to check out the tickets for Wardy Day. Should you guys have interest, where we already have a lot of you guys who have chimed in and have taken part in this already. So thank you so much to everyone who has done exactly that. And if you haven't already and you do want to take part in it, check it out. Click that link down below. But that's it from your guy Wardy. Let's continue on the live show, everybody, now. And everyone on replay, this is where we're cutting things off. Let's go Mets, baby. Peace out.